All right, so today, these are the things I want to talk to you about. I think before we start thinking about getting a market share in our community and getting more students or members, what we should be thinking about is what is really our product, what is our service, and how do we define ourselves. The second thing that I'm going to talk to you about today will be defining your market. Third, lead generation, how we're going to easily generate more leads. Lead education, how we're going to educate through content marketing our leads so we can increase the number of our marketing qualified leads. And the last one, lead qualification, I'm going to go over all the techniques and things that are important in order in the new world of marketing to generate more leads, but to be able also to drive them to your school to close the deals. And the last one, some of the techniques that you need to use to close the deals. It doesn't matter how many leads come to your school. At the end of the day, you're going to be doing some intro lessons. You're going to be talking to them face-to-face. It's so important of all the things that you need to do in order to be able to be successful. So let's begin by defining yourself. Product and service definition. It's important. I understand that you might think that I am very clear of what I do. I teach martial arts, or I teach MMA, or I teach kickboxing. But remember, that definition might not be enough for the people who are trying to find you online or the community that you live in. When they talk about you, you got to be very clear exactly of the things that you do. And also, how are you different from your competitor? So if you teach, for example, MMA, why should I take your school versus the school 5 blocks away? And the product definition goes huge. Sometimes it's not about the style or the things you teach, but also it could be about how you can help kids to become more successful. How do you educate children? What have you been successful at in the past 5 years? What are the things that you need to help adults to lose weight? Those are all the things that helps you to be clear of what is your goal, what's your mission. The mission statement of your company is the beginning of marketing. Before you start thinking, I need to generate more leads, I need to get more students, you need to know who you are first. And you have to be able to very clear that. Some schools actually, I know that their goal is to make champions. And there are a champion training type facility. They're very clear of what they want to do. Once you clear that up, you know what type of people you need to go after. Some schools, they like to focus only on kids, and they know that's where they need to be. So they put all their focus, all the marketing materials, all the sales materials based on who they really are. So defining yourself is important. Be very clear of the things you do. If you want to be a mix match type of fitness gym where you do a little bit of kickboxing, a little bit of MMA, a little bit of karate. I know some martial arts will actually do yoga as well. That's okay, but you got to be clear that that's your definition. So your definition becomes you are a place where you get people to come try all type of martial arts. That's your definition. If you are into mostly 80% of your dojo or school is focusing on adults and losing weight and kickboxing, so that's your focus. Your focus are adults, so you don't go towards content marketing that focuses on children programs. Don't try to be everything to everyone. You need to be very clear of who you are. Once you do that, it becomes the next step is defining your market. Now that you know what your goal is, what's your mission, what is it you're trying to do, once you define that, I am in this business to help children, I'm in this business to help adults, I'm into this business to get people to become world champion, I'm in this business because I want to make sure that people get healthy, I'm in this business because I want to help the people in my community to become their best. Once you define that, then you're very clear who are the people that you need to target. Now, the second phase, defining your market, is as important as the first one. You don't need to be everything for everyone. I see a lot of small businesses, they keep trying different things. They try one thing, they don't get enough students, so what they do is they question who they are. So they try to change themselves. In business, in general, it's okay to pivot. It's okay to change, but it's not okay to change your beliefs. It's not okay to change who you are. If you're expert in one thing, you don't want to become an expert in something else the next month or the next quarter. There's not enough time for you to become an expert. So make sure that you stay focused on the things you do. If your focus is children program, stay there. Stay there. Actually, children program is one of the most, I would say, profitable martial arts business. Kids stay in the programs usually longer. The parents love to pay for children to come and educate themselves and learn more and stay more focused. So it's a great market to be in kids market. Don't try to hear or listen to the hypes. One day you hear kickboxing is popular. One day you hear MMA is popular. One day you hear yoga is popular. You don't need to jump around. You can stay focused on what you do best. Now, if that's kids, that's great. If you focus on adults, in my gym, our focus has been, in the past 20 years, mostly adults. I would say maybe in the last 2-3 years, we have kind of focused back to children program again because, we wanted to keep the balance between the adults and the kids. And we've been successful in both. Some school might focus mostly on female versus male, and that's okay too. Defining your market is the first step of a successful marketing. Style of what you teach, like kickboxing versus MMA versus jiu-jitsu versus, traditional martial arts, all those are great, but try to teach something that you're expert at, not a program that you just bought off someone else. In order to be successful as a small business, you need to be very clear what your product does for people, what your service does for people, and how does it benefit them. The only way you can benefit other people is when you have something valuable to offer, when you have an expertise in something that they don't have. Developing expertise takes time, so try to stay at what you're good at. Now, it doesn't matter what style that is. I knew traditional martial arts schools that they're very successful. I know jiu-jitsu schools that are very successful, and I know kickboxing schools that are very successful. So the success, the programs does not define the success. You define the success. And stick with what you do. You do not need to do too many things. Actually, too many things is confusing, is going to destroy the morale, and is going to confuse your market. They will not know why they should come and join your business. Why should they come to your school? So it's so important for you to really define your market. Once you know the program or style, maybe, you're teaching yoga. Who do you want to teach yoga for? Do you want to teach yoga for kids, or for elderly? Try to be different. Don't always define your market same as everyone else. If 80% of the market is looking for something right now because it's popular, don't try to do the same thing. You will get more attention if you stay focused. If you focus your market definition into a narrow target, meaning the people you can attract that maybe no one actually ever approached them. So that's why I put that sample of yoga for elderly, just to give you an example. All these that you see here, just an example. Now, you might want to be a lose weight specialist. You might teach kickboxing, cardio lessons, but what is it that you're trying to do? Are you trying to get people healthy? Are you trying to get people lose weight? And if that's the kind of company or school or gym you want to be, that's okay, but stay focused. This is how you define your market. Once you define your market, you know who to go after. If you want to, for example, focus on losing weight, would you ever go after kids? No. So you just actually right now, you segmented your market. You say, okay, my market are the people between 20 or 25 to 40 years old, mostly female, who are weight conscious and want to lose weight. Now you really have a great definition of your market. If you're teaching simple martial arts, traditional martial arts, you say my focus are kids between 5 to 13 years old, and the kids who are not maybe active as much, or the kids who need to learn how to be more focused and more disciplined, or the parents who are having trouble with their kids, want to bring their kids to a place so they can learn the stuff that martial arts have to offer. So you define your market. I don't want in this webinar sit down and define the market for you, but there are a lot of materials out there that you can learn from to be more clear of who you are and what is it exactly you want to do and what are the type of individuals that you want to go after. My only advice to you is don't try to go after everyone. Adults, kids, female, male, martial arts, MMA, jiu-jitsu, fighting champions, you can do it. I know a lot of schools actually who try to do all of them. They're great schools, but they also want to be in tournaments. Tournaments is great. I do it in my school. But if you do too much of it, could be a distraction. If your whole school is involved in tournaments, it could be a huge distraction. There's nothing wrong with it if this is what you want to do. But there's a lot wrong with it if you're a small school suffering, you're trying to increase your number of enrollments, and you have over 100, 150 students, and you're trying to put your whole school through tournaments, registrations, competition training, then it will take you completely into a different direction. So be very clear with what you want and how you want to do it, and then go after it. All right. I guess most of you are here today because you're interested to learn about how to generate lead. It's not hard. A lot of businesses think that they need to have they have to be very educated about generating leads, and they need to learn social media, they need to learn about inbound marketing. But that's all true, but think about it. How many leads do you really need? If you're a school of 100 students, the rules of thumb says you would need to get at least 20% of the number of your active members to become leads every single month. So if you have 100 active students, 20% or 20, you need to generate 20 qualified leads every single month. That's not a hard work to do. It would be a lot harder if you had 500 and 1,000 students, because now you definitely need to try to generate more leads. Now, how do you do it? The first most simple base of generating leads, ask your current customers for leads. So if you already have students, whether there are 30 of them, 5 of them, 200 of them, you have to have a way to ask your students on a continuous way to refer other people to yourself. Since you're very clear about your service, since you're delivering a lot of value to your current clients, they'll be more than happy to do that for you. I know a lot of schools that actually don't ask, and asking is the first step. We have developed something called Call 246. When a student joins you, call them 2 weeks after, 4 weeks after, and 6 weeks after, and ask them whether they're enjoying their program or not. If the answer is yes, make sure you ask them for a friend, a family member who can also come benefit from your program. Something so basic can generate a lot of leads in your school. In my school, I have over 600 students. We generate almost half of all our leads through referral. And not through referrals sitting back and waiting for customers to refer someone. That's not going to happen. You have to ask. You will ask when you call new students. You will ask through email nurturing. You will ask the parents when they're sitting in your school watching their kids. You ask the parents for more referral. You need to ask. If you're shy and you don't like to do it, make sure you have some young staff members who are eager to learn more and grow the business. Ask them to do it. I think it's very important. So first try from your current customers. If you're not getting anyone from your current customers today, I wouldn't try anything else. I wouldn't go spend money on advertising. I wouldn't go spend money on marketing, because I think that would be the first step. Number two is expose yourself to more qualified leads. You might get a lot of leads into your door or through lists that you buy, but are they all qualified? Qualified leads are the ones who are really interested in your business. They're interested in you specifically. So if there are 5 or 10 schools around you in the area, they're interested in you. Those leads are qualified, meaning they're one step closer to come and join your school and become a student. So make sure that you understand the difference between qualified leads versus sales-ready leads versus unqualified leads, so which I'm going to cover that a little bit later in this presentation. Another way of getting more qualified leads is buying leads. How many of you have bought leads through InfoUSA, through community lists that you can partner up with other people within your community, other businesses? There are a lot of ways that you can generate leads. Once you have defined your service, define your market, it's easy to go buy leads. For example, if you're charging over $150 a month or $200 a month, you know for a fact that your market are the families who have over minimum of $70,000, $80,000 of income. If you're charging less than $100 or $100, now the family income can be a little bit lower. It's so important to buy the leads that are qualified. The customers that you know, once you contact them, you're going to be able to convert them to actual students. So buying leads is important, but also what kind of leads is also the key. And that comes with the first and second step, defining yourself, defining your market. Do that first, and then be happy to go out there and buy leads. It's not expensive to buy leads. It's not expensive to buy a list that you can start with. I would definitely recommend that for the newer schools, with the schools or gyms that are just starting up, with the guys with less than 50 students, because you need more people to be connected to you. Now, buying leads is not always buying a list. You can actually also get people on Facebook. You can actually be able to get more people that you need to target, your target market, and get them to join your business. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later as well. The other way of getting students, especially for older schools, the schools been around for at least 2, 3, 5, 10 years, is nurturing your former members. We all had students who've been with us at a time and then they left for different reasons. Maybe they needed to move and they had to move and then move back again. Maybe they were injured. Maybe they lost interest. Maybe they were at an age or a stage of their life that they didn't think they could benefit from your martial arts. Don't forget about them. Nurturing your former members or former students is actually key in bringing a lot of people back. You learn a lot from them, why they left. At the same time, you could bring them back. Don't think because they're gone forever. Hopefully, when they had to leave or they didn't want to continue with you, you finish everything in a good terms, so they're willing to come back. So nurturing your former members is also important. I'm not sure how many of you really organize enough to keep your database clean, having your former students, knowing who they are, where they are, keeping track of their emails and be able to nurture them. But I think it's a great way of generating leads. So if I want to put all these things together, it would be, ask your customers, your current students, family members, friends, always ask for more people. Expose yourself to more qualified leads, buy leads, not necessarily only through buying a list, but also through Facebook, and nurture your former members. There are a lot of other ways you can generate leads. For example, one great way of doing it, I was talking to Bill Storm from UP, and he said, the best way to do marketing activity in your school is to do a birthday parties. Especially if your target market are kids. If you do once a week a birthday party, you're going to be exposed to at least 5, 10 new leads every single week. That's huge. You can't buy that. You can't get more qualified leads. People who have actually showed up to your school, they have gone through the birthday party, they got to know you, you got to know their parents, they got to see the benefit of what you do in your school and why the birthday boy or girl is having so much fun in your gym. It can't be more qualified than that. So if you're not doing birthday party, I definitely suggest you call him and the UP, and then make sure that they get you going with that. I think it's important to do it not only on a weekly basis, but also to do it right. For everything you do, you need to do it right to make it work. A lot of people try many things, different campaigns, different way of generating leads, and when it doesn't work, they give up. What you should be doing, if something doesn't work, always think back and say, maybe it doesn't work because I don't know how to do it. Maybe I'm not doing it perfectly. Maybe there's a better technique to it. If you're curious in that sense, you will find the right way. So lead generation, next step is lead education. How many of you know about the new world of lead education? Customers don't want to no longer pick up the phone and answer the phone. You no longer can do cold calling. You can call people all of a sudden out of the blue in the middle of dinner. What you need to do content marketing. Content marketing is all about educating your students, your former students, and your leads about your product and services. Through blogging, through social posts, through amazing ebooks, and through emails. And when I say emails, I mean great sales copy emails. Things that can actually benefit people. Things that when you send a customer or lead, they actually open because they see a benefit for them. Lead education is becoming the #1 way of doing marketing, whether you're an enterprise level company or a small business. Because people are realizing that with the world of social media, with all these distractions, us as a human being, we pay attention to things that benefits us the most, not what benefits the customer the most. You can see some of the sample here that, I always like to write copies or make landing pages that doesn't talk about the school, but talks about the benefit. Do take some headline courses to learn how to write titles or headlines. They're important. The headlines and titles shouldn't be about you, but it should be about the benefit you give to your customers. This is how you attract people. So content marketing is huge, and you need to do that on a continuous way. Don't start sending one newsletter. Newsletters are maybe a little bit old now. People don't sit down and read huge newsletters. People don't sit back and read long sales copies. People want to read things that benefits them, and they want to get it quickly. So make sure you do that little by little. And basically, what I mean by that is make sure you know who your leads are. Send them things that they're interested. Don't send a spam or send everyone the same information. You have to qualify people. You have to profile people, your leads, and then you need to educate them. Social media has made that very easy. Writing an ebook about how your child benefits from martial arts, how they could become more disciplined, how they have to deal with bullying at the school, it's huge. A lot of people will share that online. A lot of people will love to pass that on to their friends and other people who have kids. This is how you get a lot of attention. This is how you generate a lot of leads. When you put quality content out there. And what I mean by quality means things that you help me to learn something. So if you're, say, for example, in a fitness business, you're doing a lot of kickboxing lessons, what is interested to me if you educate me not just about how to get in shape, because how many times can you talk about, losing weight? You need to change this around. Maybe you should be talking about the benefit of drinking 8 glasses of water every day. Things that interest me to learn more about you. Things that allows me as a lead to want to open more email from you. or to read your other posts, or to come and visit your page and like your page. So lead education is the new way of attracting more lead, or keeping the leads you already have in your system. You can do that through blogging. As I said, if you're not expert to write it, you can hire someone to write it. But what you do need to do is to combine your expertise with an expert in content writing. So for example, if you know your value, because you've already defined your value, and you know what is it that you do, and you know how your current customers, current students are benefiting from your program, all you have to do is define those things and start writing content for them. And then start putting those ebooks online and posting them in emails and blogging. If you want to do once a month, still your newsletter, a little bit of different things in it, that's okay. But don't rely so much on newsletters. Newsletters, in my opinion, are kind of dead. People like to have a small piece of content that they can receive on a regular basis, and that's the way you should do it. So lead education. Last one, lead qualification. This is huge. This is big. I started learning about these things probably like 2-3 years ago. And me running also a software company, the more and more that I pay attention to this, the more success I see within my own company. You know, you need to treat people like people. And the way people like to be treated is with respect. They don't like you to spam them. They don't like them for you to continuously give them a sales call or a sales pitch. And they want to be able to make decisions on their own. In order for you to be able to do that, you need to create a funnel that separates your leads and through different stages. We call this actually lead stage within Perfect Mind. The first stage are the marketing qualified. The marketing qualified leads are the individuals who are interested in your business. They might read your blog, they might like your post, they might like your page, they're interested in you, but they're not really interested to join your martial arts school yet. Maybe they have an injury, maybe they have an interest to learn from you, but they're interested in lessons for their kids, but they haven't introduced it to them yet. The marketing qualified people are the ones that you don't want to pick up the phone and call. If you bought a list of 500 people or 1,000 people in your database today, which I believe in my school we have about 15 to 20,000 of them right now, because we've been in the business for so long. What we want to do is make sure these are the guys we want to educate on a regular basis through content marketing. Again, through the ebooks that I talked about, through proper sales copy and email, and through social. So it's important to continuously educate these groups of people. And you have to educate them based on their needs and based on their profile. If you're sending the content to a parent, or are you sending it to an adult that is interested in lessons for himself? I think it's important that you understand the people you're contacting a lot more specifically. So that way you can really do focused content marketing versus a spam content marketing. So defining your marketing qualified leads is important. The second group I call sales qualified. The sales qualified are the ones that you can actually make a phone call. You can pick up the phone and call them. Would you like to come for an intro lesson? When can I book you for a lesson? The sales qualified people are the ones who maybe just in the last 30 days have gone to your website and filled up a form. They have shown some interest for you to call them. They've maybe been online on your website and browsing around, looking at your pages, looking at your programs. Maybe they had called your school. Maybe it's the walk-in that just passed by and walked into your school and asked for questions and asked for more information or asked for a schedule. All those leads are sales qualified, or another name for it is sales ready. These are the people that you can nurture and make phone calls. Now, the way you nurture these people is about the benefit of your martial arts programs. How has it really helped other people? And you nurture them differently than the information you send to marketing qualified leads. The sales ready leads are the ones who are interested. Some people call them hot leads, but I'll call them sales ready, because sales ready means It could be a week ago that they came to your website, or 2 weeks ago. These guys are all sales ready, and you can actually make phone calls. And also, you have to be able to nurture them differently than the marketing qualified. The last but not least are opportunities. Who are your opportunities? Opportunities are the people who are currently in your school trying your lessons. Somebody who called and said, I want to take an intro lesson tomorrow. Can I come at 4 o'clock? Those individuals are opportunities. Those are lead. The stage of that lead is opportunity. It means they're ready to be closed. They are actually opportunity to be closed. We separate them 3 different ways. So marketing qualified, sales qualified, and opportunity. This way you're more clear that in your business how many people you have in your gym. Now if you look at this from the top, you might have 200 people as marketing qualified in your database. For sales ready, you're probably going to have somewhere around 40 to 30 to 40 people as sales qualified or sales ready. And the opportunities are usually the people in your school. They're taking lessons, but they haven't yet enrolled into your regular program. Those people are probably like 5 or 10 of them. Now, if I want to increase my opportunities and I want to have more people in my opportunity, what would I do? Do I go straight and buy a lead and that would turn into an opportunity? No, no way. You need to be very patient in marketing. You got to take the steps. First, you have to have them as marketing qualified and nurture them and educate them. Once they're kind of ready and they're responding back, and you know they actually visited your website and they fill up a form, which we call activating them within your forms, converting them. We call them a conversion every time they fill up a form. Now those people are sales ready. Now you can pick up the phone and call them and ask them or invite them to come to your school. And the last group, the opportunities. So every month, every week, every quarter, you can look at these numbers and see how you're doing. If you see that your opportunities are drying up, it's because your marketing qualified leads are drying up. So maybe you need to increase them over there. If you see that your sales qualified are not increasing, what would that tell you? Anybody knows? That would tell you that you're not educating your marketing qualified leads properly. You're not sending them the right information. You're not creating interests. You're not giving them any specials or deals to become a sales ready type of lead. That would tell you a lot about your content. Now, if your sales ready are not turning in your opportunity, what would that tell you? That would tell you that your nurture for sales ready people are not working. You're not saying the right things. Or the people who are picking up the phone and calling these people to invite them to your school, they're not doing a good job. Has nothing to do with your marketing effort. Has to do with your salesmanship effort. It has to do with your staff. Here you need to pay attention to the right things. Because you have stages in your lead qualifications, you can clearly see where you're doing well and where you're not doing well. On your opportunities, if they're not turning into actual students, enrolling to your regular program, you know your intro coaches are not doing a good job. So you would need to work on those techniques. And this way, you'll be able to organize your whole marketing effort through the lead qualification stages. Next one, still part of lead qualification. Remember we talked about making sure that you send the right content to the right people? That would only happen if you profile your leads. If you know your lead is a parent, is a teen, maybe a male or female, that way you can really target the people specifically to their own needs versus a one content for all. So lead profile is important. We have a new field in Mass Marketer that would allow you to choose and select these fields, so that way you can keep track of the type of leads you get, the type of profiles that you have within your database. That way you know how to target them. And then lead status. The lead status is where your program director, your sales type people within your school fill up. So if somebody comes to your school or you've already contacted them, you want to pick the lead status contacted. If you've done a tour or a demo, you pick the second options. If they've already done your second introductory and they're into extension conference where you're trying to extend them into your regular program, you leave that as a negotiation sections. Because sometimes people come to your school, they do a lesson, they say, okay, I need to talk to my wife, to my husband, to my mom, to my dad, so I'll get back to you. Those are the groups of people the status becomes negotiation. And the last but not least is close loss. So if a lead come to your school from marketing qualified, become sales ready, and then an opportunity, but you can't close them, you want to make sure that you fill up the field called close loss. That way you know you don't have to keep contacting the people who are not interested in you. Maybe sending a survey to them to know why they didn't choose you. Maybe they went to your competitor. It's good for you to know and learn from it. The only way you can do that to be organized and do the right thing on your database. So you can run a report on a regular basis to know how's it going. So if we talk about marketing in general, I would say marketing is two things. One is mathematics. So you need to be an analyzer. You need to be able to look at data and information and analyze it to see where you're doing the right things and what are the efforts that you need to put in some other stages of your business. And the second part of marketing becomes creativity. The content that you create, the type of content that you provide, and being smart about when to contact who. That's part of being a marketer, creative marketer. And you need both. You know, you need to be very much mathematical, analytical, and analyze your data on a regular basis. The number of leads you get as marketing qualified, sales ready opportunity, and be able to know where things are going good and where things are not going good. At the same time, the second part is the creativity, being able to really educate people through marketing. And that's important. So if you don't have both side of this brain, being analytical and being creative, you should hire some other people to do those parts for you. But definitely you got to be able to keep track. And if you organize, you'll be able to look back and say, okay, you know, last year I did well because of this. This month I'm not doing well because I haven't done the same thing. Again, when I was talking to Bill from UP, he was saying that, Fareed, a lot of people think too much about, you know, getting new leads, but they're not really focusing on the right things. And I said, Bill, what's the right thing? He said, Fareed, the right thing is to have a marketing activity to-do list. Every month, every week, you have to do some type of marketing activity. And I asked him, I said, so what kind of example you can give me for that? He said, well, for example, you know, being able to do birthday parties. That's an activity. That counts as an activity. Or being able to go outside your school to a school or to a mall or to a specific special groups and do some demonstrations and gather more leads there. These are marketing activities. If you're sitting back and you're doing absolutely nothing to do marketing activities, of course you're not going to generate leads. And after you generated the leads, that's just the beginning. Now you have people that you can nurture, you can qualify, and you can move them to become opportunities, which is the second step. So it's important to be able to track, and that's what this lead status and lead profiles is all about here. Now, be ready to close. I don't know about you, but I've had my share of having bad staff or bad program directors or really uneducated program directors about closing these deals. I drive them to the school. We spend thousands of dollars on advertising and in nurturing and in marketing and being able to qualify these individuals to become opportunities, and then at the end I bring them to the schools and no one can close them. So then what's the point? No matter how much you spend on your marketing or sales, if you're not able to actually close them at the end of the day or enroll them into your program, there's something wrong there. This is what you need to fix. And that starts by also nurturing your opportunities. If some people are already in your school and they're doing intro lessons, would it be nice to send them an email and say, how would this also benefit Johnny, who is 5-year-old? Would it be nice to send them a testimonial from a parent and send them that how much they're enjoying your school and how your school has changed your life forever. It would be nice to nurture these people. Yes, they are already in your school, but maybe your program director doesn't have the ability to sell you or to sell the benefit of your program to the new program, to the new lead. So it would be nice to be able to nurture them as well in the background. So they're taking lessons, they're coming back next Thursday again, but meanwhile when they're home, they get an email and they get a nurture email that is specific to them, that helps them to make better decisions, a quicker decision to join and enroll into your program. So I think nurturing opportunity is important. I've actually kind of created this to help all the schools who don't have the great ability to close. Maybe they get a lot of leads, they get 10 leads come to the school, they come to intro 1, after intro 1 just 5 of them show up for intro 2, and then after 5 only 2 of them may be registered. That's not enough. Out of every 10, 20 people joining your school coming to try your lessons, at least half of them should close. And if you're not getting that type of number, try not to so much focus on marketing and lead generation. You should be focusing on closing. And there are a lot of great materials out there. Again, there are a lot of great consulting company out there that you can contact and get the materials. I love UP. I've seen the materials, work with them, watch some of those videos that they do on intro lessons and how to do the extension, the 7 magic questions that EFC created. Get them, learn the stuff, learn how to become a great closer. And a great closer for every business is a little different. Some people do intro lessons, some people don't. They just enroll people into their kickboxing program, and then they move them up from 3 months to a 6 months program. And it's all about having a great service and having a great facility. Those are also great. But if you are a traditional martial arts school and you do intro lessons and you try to enroll them into a $150 program per month, you definitely need to do some type of introductory lessons so you can sit down with the parents or the decision maker so you can enroll them into your program. So the right staff is important. If your program director is not a person who can close the deals, go find someone else. These individuals do not need to be great martial artists. They don't need to be training in martial arts for 5-10 years. Actually, this is the easiest part of training of a staff member for a membership type business, right here. Because they don't need to be so skillful in the art itself, but they have to be very skillful when it comes to sales and relationship and the people skill that they have. These kind of individuals not hard to find. Look for one or look for 2. And you see someone is not doing it, look at your stats. You see, I gave you a sample here, close minimum 50%. If 10 people show up to your school, you're not closing 5 of them to enroll into your yearly program, you're doing something wrong. And the only thing I could see that is wrong is the individual who's actually talking to these people. They're not closing them. What you need to do is to change them. I know it's hard to change people. I've been in it, where you say, okay, now if he leaves, what I'm going to do, then who am I going to find? How am I going to find? And you stay there, and you stay there. You keep the same staff there for years and years, but years after years, they cannot perform. You have to get people who love their job, and this job is sales, whether you like it or you don't like it. They have to be able to represent you well. They have to be able to have some type of sales ability. They must have taken some education through martial arts consulting companies so they know how to close. It's all technique, and these techniques are important. This is how you increase that number. So if today you go back to your school, start from today and start seeing how many people come into your school and how many you're closing. If you're not getting minimum 50%, you need to make a change. I would definitely suggest you to call UP. And last but not least, be an analyzer. I know that we all don't like to be an analyzer because it's hard. We don't know what to look at, which information to look at. But I give you pretty good idea of what to look at. Number 1, always look at your database. How many marketing qualified people you have? How many sales ready people you have that you can call and actually get them to come and do introductory lessons? or they had maybe called you and they haven't showed up yet. And then look at your opportunities today. How many opportunities you have in your school? Opportunity are the people who you're doing introductory lesson with. Is it 2 of them right now in your school doing intro lessons? Is it 5 of them? Is it 10 of them? You better know the numbers. Once you know the number, you can analyze, and you know where you have to do the right thing. Now, part of this is, of course, for us was to create a service called Mr. Marketer that is going to help you in a lot of these educational parts. The content marketing, the nurturing, the lead generation. Again, the lead generation doesn't always have to come from buying a list or doing a birthday party. You know, a lot of times it's about asking. Mr. Marketer emails are designed specifically for you to send to your students, to your former students, to your current marketing qualified leads, so they can refer you to someone else. They're great sales copies. We've done great work on this, and that can help you to really grow your business. Mr. Marketer, if you don't know about it, please find out. If you're interested to get more information, you can contact Cincinnati. You can call us at ChampionsWay here. Before I finish the webinar, I'd like to go to Q&A. So if you have any question, I'd like to start doing that here. So I'm going to move this over here. So if you have any question, I'll be more than happy to answer. I know not everybody's in the same size of a business and the same type of need, but definitely I'm here to help. So we got the floor open for another 10 minutes. So if you have any question, you can type it in. And Cincinnati, you want to take over here?
Thank you, sir. That was great information. I was actually on Facebook, a lot of conversation going on there at Mr. Frieda from the webinar, a lot of excitement.
That's great.
Okay, so the first question we have, Mr. Frieda, is we have a good mix of kids and adults, and would like to market to both and gain more women. Is that possible? What do you recommend?
This is a great question. I mean, this is really a standard problem for all martial arts school. I think what you should do is, it's okay to have kids and adults and women and want to get everyone, but try to stay focused. I would say do some marketing campaign just towards female. First, define your service for women. Why is this so great for them? And what benefits they can get from your business, from your school. First, define that really well. Once you know, then we have to start creating some content for it. And then once you know your profile, obviously you say woman, now it's easy to target them, right? And the way you start with the mothers at your school, right? They're a great source. You know, you get 5 of them, they go and bring 5 other people to your gym. And start nurturing women. I think definitely the answer is yes, but stay focused one at a time. Maybe for a month or 2 months, just focus only on women. Every content, every information, focus on women. Then go focus only on kids, and then focus only on adults. That's a great way to do a type of e-books type of things to do for your leads. But at the same time, what you can do, you can actually do this automatically through Mr. Marketer. So female would get their information, adults would get their information, and kids type information, or parents who are interested for the kids program, they'll get only information specific to them and nurture specific to them. I hope
okay, that's a great answer, Mr. Fried. Thank you for that. Another question, really good question. Would you mind listing some ways in which you ask current members for referrals?
Absolutely. Great questions. You guys are smart. That's amazing. Well, okay. The way I would do is this. First, in order to ask for anyone for the referral, you need to be able to talk to them, or to find out at least if they're happy with you or not. You know, if somebody's not happy, they're not coming to your school, or you see that they're C students with imperfect mind, you'll know that automatically. Then you don't want to approach them and ask them for a referral, right? That's why the great things about automation is, you know, you don't want to send things to the students who are not active themselves and ask for someone else to introduce to your school. So make sure they're happy. The best time for people, usually they're happy, you know when it is? Cincinnati? What is the best time for students to be happy? Usually when they get their tested for a new belt, right?
Absolutely.
Those are great times to join.
Yes, belt graduations.
Also, the best time is proven to ask for someone referrals the first 90 days they've been in your school, because they haven't developed friendship. They don't have many friends in the school, so they have their outside friends still. If you ask a student who's been with you for 5 years, they probably have all their friends within your school, so it's harder to ask for referral. But the first 90 days is usually the best time. Now, what would you say to them? I would say, "Hi, Johnny, this is Master Freed from Champions. Hope you're doing well. I know that you just got your yellow belt. How are you doing? Are you enjoying your class?" "Yes." "Okay, great. So what's your goal? What do you want to be? What do you want to do the next? What's your goal?" And they would talk about that a little bit, so I would chat with them a bit. And then I would say, "Johnny, by the way, we're doing some type of share the art program in your school, in our school, and I like my students to always promote the art. It's actually part of our tradition to promote the art. I've been doing it, my instructor has been doing it, and all my students are doing it. So I like to ask you as well to do your part and try to refer somebody to our school. Would you know of any friend or any family members that could also benefit from the program the way you have?" It's very easy. Simple questions. You've been in my school for this much. You're having fun. You benefited from it. Is there anyone else that could also benefit from the program? Because we all want to share the art. It's part of our tradition to share the art with others.
Okay, and a lot of questions coming to Mr. Freed, a lot of really good ones too. "I have problems closing. Are there any books you recommend to help with enrolling students? One question I have a problem with are price shoppers that ask how much are lessons."
Well, don't put your focus so much on price. Once you define yourself, your market, remember we talked about at the beginning. That means you have already defined your prices. Once you know what your prices are, don't try to go back and forth on your prices. Stick with your prices because you know the service that you're providing is worth and it costs that much. So if somebody comes and asks for a cheaper price and this and that, that to me means that they haven't really been sold on the service itself. I can't recommend a great book, but I do recommend a lot of consulting materials out there. I think I actually did a webinar on that. It's called 7 Magic Questions. I'm not sure if that was a while back ago or not. But definitely talk to Bill Storm. He will definitely be able to put you in the right direction. Asking the right question from people is important. If I'm sitting in front of someone and somebody says, "Yeah, but I can go across the street for cheaper," what did that tell you? That means they haven't really understand the value of your service. So when you're trying to do an intro lesson for someone or introducing your program to someone, you have to be able to also pre-frame them with some of the magic questions. We call it, EFC used to call them 7 magic questions. When you ask someone, "Are you going to be in the area for a while? You're not planning to move anywhere, right?" And so if you've sold the benefit of your program, they understand how they would benefit them. Coming up with the money is not the hard part. I remember that I did an intro lesson for a guy who had no job. He had no money. He had just moved from another city to our town, and he had done an intro lesson with me. After introductory, when I asked him, "Do you want to be a black belt?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Are you willing to be with us for another 4 or 5 years?" He said, "Yes." Everything I asked him on all those magic questions was yes, 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 yes. So I said, "Wow, this is amazing. Definitely he's going to enroll." And then he said, "You know what the problem is? I don't have a job." I said, "That's okay." He said, "What do you mean it's okay?" I said, "The first step of your life starts by you thinking about taking martial arts." So the first step you've already taken. You came to our school. Now, martial arts is going to help you to become more successful. How? Because it's going to give you the confidence. Right? You're going to be more confident when you go for a job interview, when you take martial arts. So what I'm willing for you to do is this. I give you 2 weeks free lessons to come and pay nothing. But you have to promise me one thing. He said, "What?" I said, "You promise me after 2 weeks, you go and you try hard, you send your resumes, you do your interviews, and you find a job." He said, "That's a deal." And honestly, he came back 2 weeks later with a great job. And he's been my student since. So helping people truly from bottom of your heart, if you believe in your program, you believe in your school, is great. And so it's not about money, it's about the benefit. Every time someone talks about the price, cheaper, more expensive, that means they did not understand the benefit of your program. So what you have to do is drop the pen and go back and talk about the benefits again. Maybe do a third intro lessons. Maybe to come and try for a week. That means they haven't received your benefit yet. I've got, I think, 2 more questions that I can go for.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. So first question out of the 2, you mentioned UP for closing sales. What is UP?
United Professional. They've been a consulting, martial arts consulting company for over 20 years. And we just did our event with them. It's called Champions United. And I believe in these guys. You know, they do really help the schools. I've seen them travel, get on the phone, and help the school to become better. And so any type of martial arts consulting you need, you would need to call them.
Excellent. Okay, and this is our last question, Master Fried. You mentioned advertising. Could you list 3 to 5 advertising methods that have proved successful, i.e. postcards, door hangers, billboards, ads in local papers? We are a relatively new school and need to get the word out. We are already building a vibrant social community, but need our local area to know where we are. What are your best suggestions? Okay,
great question. How did Obama become president?
Social media.
So it wasn't through advertising, through paper, was it?
No.
No, or it wasn't through door hangers, was it?
No, sir.
No. Learn a little bit about Facebook advertising. It's great. You know, you can actually target the people in your area, in your community, and get them to come and like you, and then nurture them after they become marketing qualified to become sales ready, and then you make the calls. Anybody who opens your email, want to read an ebook that is interesting, that benefits them, that will generate more leads because they're going to share that on Facebook. So social advertising, I think, is great. I can't say 100% works, but definitely I would try. The good thing about social advertising or online advertising is that you get to see the result immediately. So if you spend $10, $20, you'll see whether it works or not. So social media, definitely. And to start with, friends, families, you know, VIP cards in your pocket every time you go to a coffee shop, every time your staff go to a coffee shop, every time you go to a salon, you pass on your VIP cards. And do a lot of 1 month free lessons. Do a lot of 2 weeks free lessons in your VIP cards so you can get people into your door.
Love that. And just a little thing there, Master Fried.
Yes.
Even with Mr. Marketer, you won't even need a VIP card. It'll be a link that you could have on your cell phone. So when you're out somewhere, if someone is interested, it'll go right into Perfect Mind.
Sensei Nick, can you take 2 minutes and talk about Mr. Marketer?
Sure, absolutely. So there was a lot of questions coming in on that as well. And just real quick, we will be doing our release webinar on December 17th. It's a Tuesday. That'll be our big webinar where basically myself and Master Fried will be going over everything about Mr. Marketer. But to give you a quick overview of exactly what Mr. Marketer is, we've taken a lot of time in developing this product, and what we've determined is that, you know, a lot of things Master Fried was talking about. A lot of people are focusing so much effort on, you know, lead generation and leads and online leads, and that is absolutely part of Mr. Marketer. But the other big part is, like Master Fried explained, is your students. And a lot of these questions coming in, people were talking about, you know, how do you get more referrals? How do you ask for referrals? And really, that's the thing. It's not, you shouldn't be asking for referrals. It's about, like Master Fried explained, you know, offering things in the community, offering bully prevention seminars, all these different seminars you're doing, and we're going to help you get out that message and offer it through email marketing, through landing pages, through professional sales copy that's been written for you, that's connected to Perfect Mind, that's on an automated schedule, so that way you can focus most of your energy on teaching great classes. We've also implemented customer service, a lot of things for you to determine, are your introductory lessons even good? What about surveys for people to fill out after 2, 4, and 6? Yearly surveys, 4 times a year surveys that are going out. These reports are, you know, built right into Mr. Marketer for you, so you can get the feedback. You know, is your school clean? Is your staff attentive? You know, how do they rate their overall experience? A lot of times people, like, if they're not focusing on those things at all, and they're not getting the data they need. They can't make the adjustments. So this
What are
stuff is all
some
automated.
what are some of the ebooks that we send out on social media to generate more leads?
Let me pull up the page real quick. We have, let's see here, ebook center. Well, that's another great point for the ebooks, Master Fried, is we're making ebooks on a weekly basis for the clients. We have everything from bully prevention, why martial arts is beneficial for children with ADD and ADHD, 5 benefits of kickboxing, confidence kit, women's self-defense tips, how to eat clean, free focus kits. Let's see, there's some other new ones in here that were just added. Let's see, how to eat clean.
If any of you out there have any type of marketing challenge, you must use Mr. Marketer. And the reason I say you must is because the cost is so low that you can't afford not to have it. Everything is about organizing your efforts, making sure that you do your lead generation, lead qualification, and lead education in a proper way. At the same time, it frees you up from making all those content yourself, which is going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars to do it yourself. So get to learn Mr. Marketer. Make sure you get it for your school. It doesn't matter how many students you have, whether you have 5 students, 50, 100, 200. The more leads and students you put in your database, the better work Mr. Marketer is going to do for you. So make sure you get it. I know that since Nick said he's going to do another webinar on this, but get to know it. There's a lot of information on our site as well. Go on CWay, on ChampionsWay Facebook page, and tell us that if you're interested, if you like the thing, maybe we can do some type of thing for a price as well, and give me some feedback about the webinar as well. I need to go, so it was great chatting with everyone. Thank you very much, Cincinnati. I appreciate your feedback on Mr. Marketer.
Too long.
No, you were perfect. That was great. But so we can take another maybe webinar and to go into details of what exactly Mr. Marketer is. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.